Aslan, we need your help.
I know, but understand, the future of Narnia rests on your courage.
If it's a war Aslan wants, a war he shall get.
They come in numbers far greater than our own.
When the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe arrived in 2005, it carried with it the weight of literary history and the ambition of epic fantasy cinema. Adapted from the beloved novel by C.S. Lewis and directed by Andrew Adamson, the film set out to translate a timeless allegory into a sweeping cinematic experience for a new generation. What emerged was a story that blended the innocence of childhood with the scale of myth, placing 4 ordinary siblings at the center of a conflict that would determine the fate of an entire world. The film does not rush into spectacle. Instead, it begins in the shadow of real-world turmoil, grounding its fantasy in the historical reality of World War II. The opening moments establish a somber atmosphere as German bombers roar over London. Amid air raid sirens and chaos, 4 children, Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy Pevensey, are separated from their home and sent away to the countryside for safety. This decision, common during the war, becomes the narrative gateway to something far greater. The countryside estate where they arrive feels distant and austere, filled with long corridors, antiqued furniture, and the quiet authority of its mysterious owner. The house itself becomes a character, silent, watchful, and brimming with secrets waiting to be uncovered. It is Lucy, the youngest of the siblings, portrayed with luminous sincerity by Georgie Henley, who stumbles upon the wardrobe that will forever change their lives. In one of the most iconic sequences in modern fantasy cinema, Lucy pushes past the heavy coats and finds not a wooden back panel, but a forest of snow-laden trees. The scene is executed with a delicate sense of wonder. Snow crunches beneath her feet, breath fogs in the winter air, and a lamppost glows inexplicably in the middle of a silent woodland. That first step into Narnia captures the essence of childhood imagination, the idea that magic may exist just beyond the ordinary. Lucy's encounter with Mr. Tumnus signals that this is no ordinary forest. A faun with gentle eyes and a conflicted heart, he embodies the tension that defines Narnia under the rule of the White Witch. Through him, Lucy learns that this once vibrant land is trapped in an eternal winter, always winter but never Christmas. It is a poetic curse, symbolic of stagnation and despair, and it hangs over every frame set in Narnia. When Lucy returns to England and tells her siblings of what she has seen, she is met with skepticism, yet the wardrobe waits patiently, and soon all 4 children step into the frozen world together. The White Witch, Jadis, portrayed with chilling elegance by Tilda Swinton, is introduced not merely as a villain, but as a force of nature. Draped in icy whites and sharp silhouettes, she moves with controlled menace. Her presence radiates cold authority, and her ability to turn dissenters into stone statues reinforces her dominion. Swinton's performance avoids caricature. Instead, she delivers a calculated cruelty that makes Jadis feel both regal and ruthless. Every glance and measured word carries the weight of absolute power. As the siblings navigate Narnia, the film carefully develops each of their arcs. Peter, played by William Moseley, struggles with the sudden burden of responsibility. As the eldest, he feels compelled to lead, yet he is still a boy grappling with uncertainty. Susan, portrayed by Anna Popplewell, embodies caution and pragmatism, often acting as the emotional anchor of the group. Edmund, played by Skandar Keynes, provides the most complex journey. His resentment and vulnerability make him susceptible to the witch's manipulations, particularly when she tempts him with enchanted Turkish delight and promises of power. Lucy remains the heart of the story, her unwavering belief serving as a beacon for the others. Central to the narrative is the majestic lion Aslan, voiced with commanding warmth by Liam Neeson. Aslan's presence transforms the tone of the film. When he finally appears, the camera lingers not only on his physical grandeur, but on the reverence he inspires. He is not merely a talking animal, he is the embodiment of hope, justice, and sacrifice. The animals and creatures of Narnia speak his name with a mixture of awe and devotion, and even the witch recognizes the threat he poses to her reign. The film's visual design plays a crucial role in shaping its emotional resonance. Snow-covered landscapes stretch into the horizon, while ancient castles rise from frozen cliffs. The production balances digital effects with tangible textures, allowing Narnia to feel immersive rather than artificial. The beaver's home, warm and inviting against the icy wilderness, contrasts sharply with the witch's fortress, a place of cold stone and lifeless statues. These environments reinforce the thematic conflict between warmth and frost, freedom and oppression. Edmund's betrayal marks a turning point. Drawn by pride and temptation, he seeks out the White Witch, believing her promises of kingship. His decision fractures the unity of the siblings and underscores the moral complexity of the story. The witch's treatment of him reveals her true nature, manipulative and merciless. Through Edmund, the film explores themes of redemption and accountability. His eventual realization of the harm he has caused sets the stage for one of the film's most powerful moments. Aslan's sacrificial act at the stone table stands as the emotional climax of the narrative. In a sequence charged with solemnity, Aslan offers himself in Edmund's place, honoring the deep magic that governs Narnia. The scene is handled with restraint and gravity. Lucy and Susan witness the event, their grief palpable. The witch believes she has secured victory, yet the deeper magic, older and more profound than she understands, reshapes the outcome. Aslan's return is not framed as mere triumph, but as fulfillment of a cosmic law rooted in selfless love. The final battle between Aslan's forces and the witch's army unfolds with operatic scale. Centaurs charge across the battlefield, griffins soar overhead, and swords clash in the snow. Peter steps into his role as a leader, confronting the enormity of war with newfound courage. The choreography balances spectacle with character focus, ensuring that the conflict remains personal rather than abstract. When the Aslan ultimately defeats the witch, the thaw begins. Ice melts, rivers flow, and color returns to the land. The restoration of Narnia mirrors the restoration of hope. The coronation of the four siblings as kings and queens marks the completion of their transformation. No longer merely evacuees from wartime England, they have become rulers shaped by courage, humility, and sacrifice. Time passes differently in Narnia, allowing them to mature into wise leaders. Yet the story circles back to its origin when they stumble upon the lamppost once more and return through the wardrobe, emerging as children again in the English countryside. The experience remains with them, unseen yet indelible. Beyond its narrative, the film resonates because it bridges multiple audiences. Children are drawn to its sense of adventure and wonder, while adults recognize its allegorical depth and moral questions. The casting choices reinforce this balance. Swinton's icy precision, Neeson's resonant authority, and the youthful authenticity of Henley, Mosley, Keynes, and Popplewell create a dynamic ensemble that feels both grounded and mythic. Under Adamson's direction, the performances maintain emotional sincerity even amid fantastical settings. Thematically, the film explores faith, betrayal, courage, and redemption without heavy-handed exposition. It trusts its audience to interpret symbolism while remaining accessible as a straightforward adventure. The eternal winter becomes a metaphor for spiritual desolation. The thaw signifies renewal. The wardrobe itself symbolizes transition, the threshold between innocence and experience, safety and danger, doubt and belief. From a cinematic standpoint, the film arrived during a resurgence of epic fantasy storytelling in the early 2000s. Yet it carved its own identity by focusing on the perspective of children. Where many fantasies center on seasoned warriors or reluctant adult heroes, this story frames its conflict through youthful eyes. The stakes feel immense precisely because they're filtered through innocence. The Pevensies do not begin as chosen warriors. They become leaders through trials that test their character. Music and sound design further elevate the atmosphere. The score swells with orchestral grandeur during moments of triumph and softens into delicate melodies during scenes of introspection. The sound of cracking ice, roaring lions, and whispering winds immerses viewers in Narnia's sensory world. These technical elements operate in harmony with the narrative, reinforcing its emotional beats without overwhelming them. Ultimately, the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe endures because it captures a universal longing, the desire to believe that beyond hardship lies transformation. It suggests that courage can be found in unlikely places, that betrayal can lead to redemption, and that sacrifice can break even the coldest curse. The wardrobe stands closed at the film's conclusion, yet its symbolic door remains open in the imagination of its audience. Through compelling performances, visionary direction, and a story rooted in timeless themes, the film secures its place as a defining chapter in modern fantasy cinema, inviting viewers to step through the coats and into a world where winter yields to hope, and where ordinary children become legends.